Hey everyone, I'm back with probably the finale of the StartEngine comments. It looks like the Nick isn't responding anymore, and it's been overtaken by the trolls that leave comments that are in bad taste. So I won't show any of those comments in this video because they're not really witty or smart. Like I like the other probably troll comments which ask questions about the financials and then where the answers are going to be something Intellivision doesn't want to answer. But seems like lately, the last few days, it's just questions about like sucking dongs and stuff like that. And those are just lame. I'm guessing it's like a 13-year-old kid trying to be funny or something, but I don't know. Either way, so I'll go over the comments that are decent, and as a bonus, I have some comments from the Republic page, which I like to go over. So let's start this off. So Bernie L asks, are there any plans to develop an alternative controller like the Xbox Adaptive Controller? The lack of tactile feedback on the Amico controller touchscreen will be an issue for some important members of my family. Well, that seems like a big no, since they don't even want to have a standard regular controller, and they can't even complete the bizarre controller that they have now, so highly unlikely. The best you're going to get is a stick on suction cup buttons on the touchscreen, which will be even worse. Next comment, it says, big shout out to Ninja Kitty. Hey, that's me. For always keeping us informed on his YouTube channel while at the same time entertaining us. Keep up the great work. Well, thank you, Christian. I try to do my best. I try to mix some information and with entertainment because I know a lot of channels are just pretty sterile and boring. So we like to have fun here. So we'd like to mix it up. So Bernie L says, hi Christian, is this YouTube channel affiliated with Intellivision Entertainment? Does it contain additional complimentary information regarding this campaign that is not already outlined on this page in linked materials? Well, Bernie, I can answer that. I do have a good overview where I go over the whole pitch itself, not the detailed financials section, but it does go over the main area here, just above the comment section. And I have a lot of other videos that are very informative, but no, I'm not affiliated at all. I've never actually talked to anyone from Intellivision, and yeah, I have nothing to do with them. And Bernie says, the only reference I could find of Ninja Kitty on the Intellivision YouTube channel would be this brief clip in the Gamescom 2019 trailer at the 205 mark, linked here. And he's showing that prototype samurai cat game where it was like a cat fighter. I think it was Cat Fighter it was called. And I didn't realize that there's a Ninja Kitty on that one, but that's pretty funny. And just to clarify why the name is Ninja Kitty, I said this a few other times. It's actually because my daughter, like 2 or 3 years ago, wanted to make her own little YouTube channel because the kids in her class were all into like Minecraft at the time and a few other games. And she wanted to impress the boys in her class by showing her gameplay clips. So she wanted to come up with a funny name, and she likes cats, so that's where she got Kitty. And she thought the boys would think something cool like Ninja would be cool. Because like a Ninjago was big at the time. So she came up with Ninja Kitty. Stopped using the channel because that got boring after a couple months. And then last April or March, I wanted to make a funny video, but I didn't want to use my regular channel, like my normal channel, like my own personal stuff. So I figured out I'll just upload it on my daughter's channel, and that's how come my name is Ninja Kitty. So there you go. So yeah, there's no actual ninja cats involved here or with Intellivision. Christian says, Ninja Kitty gets the videos out in record time. His videos achieve the highest quality available. The diligence and dedication demonstrated on his videos is truly remarkable, and somehow each video he manages to maintain the same excellent performance. Oh my goodness, I gotta send that check to Christian M. That's so nice. I thank you for that. That's very kind. And then Harold G says, oh, hi, Ninja Kitty. And Bernie L says, hi, Christian, I found their channel. It's pretty hilarious. Well, thank you, Bernie L. I'm glad that you enjoyed the channel. And we'd like to have fun here. I'm trying to make other videos not about the Intellivision, but time is limited, and it's so funny that it's just too funny to not make videos about it. So we'll see what happens down the road once the company's out of business. So Darinka also left a comment saying, just saw a Ninja Kitty video, and I think here are his alt accounts. He's a Nintendo boy for sure, and all he does is crap on Intellivision. Go play Nintendo, loser. Well, that's not very nice, Darinka. Just to clarify, those are not alt accounts of mine. I don't have alt accounts, and I don't even have a account on StartEngine because why would I leave any comments there? And just to make it clear, I'm not a Nintendo boy. I buy pretty much every console. I guess I would have to be considered an Xbox person because that's the one I play the most of my games on. So I don't know why you're so angry. I'm just basically reading what people are writing. So why all the hate there? Maybe I'll be a nice guy. I'll create a video with your name and dating profile and try to find anybody who wants to date a single mom with a 2-year-old who wants to play the Intellivision Amico. I can find a few people. I'm sure there's some single guys in the Amico cult. I'll keep an eye out for you. I'll let you know. So Eric J said, "Thank you for the answer to my first question about prepaid development costs." He then asks, "Now I'm curious, what is your target price per unit? What would that yield in gross margin per unit, and what is the break-even point in unit sales?" And we don't know the answers to that yet. And also, it doesn't help when $100 is going to that one investor. So that really kills any chance of an actual profitable margin on each unit. These are answers we don't know yet. It should be cheap, but apparently it's not. So we'll see what happens. In the old days, Tommy would brag about how fat the margins were and how retail were going to love it because there's going to be so much markup on the product. But in the last 6 months, it seems like it's completely done a 180 on that. And all we hear is from Phil and Nick and everyone else is how expensive it is to construct the console, and how they might have to make a Amico Lite to make a product that's more affordable. So really interesting. It would be curious to see what their cost is per unit. Don T says, "The Amico is easily the greatest console ever to be conceived. Tommy is an absolute genius. One of the greatest video game composers ever. Koji Kondo could only dream of having half the talent as Tommy." So I'm guessing this is a troll one, obviously. Well, not that, because Koji is better, but just because, yeah, Tommy. I find all these hateful comments towards Tommy and Intellivision very sad. Very sad. They clearly cannot see the genius design of the Amico. Controllers are the greatest controllers you'll ever put in your hands. And just to be clear, I have very big hands. Very big. The disc pad blows away those ancient analog sticks, what we've been using since 1996. And you've got people complaining about lack of face buttons? Who needs them? Not to me. Only a narrow-minded gaming communist would choose face buttons over the amazing touchscreen on the Amico controllers. And they're joking around like that because Tommy used to call people gaming racists, fascists, communists. He used every single word in the book talking about people. So he finishes off by saying, "So to all you narrow-minded haters, stop spreading all this hate towards Amico. I mean, have you even played it yet? Sad." Well, that's a funny troll comment. It wasn't in bad taste. And just bringing up the point that the controllers are terrible. No one wants to use touchscreens as an action button, at least. And the disc it's not as precise of an analog stick. So yeah, it's crap. Our friend Tallarico comes back and says, "Everybody who played Amico loves Amico. I listen to those that played, not those that just want to hate because they're Nintendo boys with a Z. And pollute comment here with their misery face buttons can be placed on touchscreen if they want to whine about this. I think this try to read it how it's spelled. It's spelled really poorly. Deserves a shot and will do well. I'm a single mom with a..." She likes pointing out she's a single mom with a 2-year-old and can think of nothing better as a gift for my child than this. And CN feels safe too. So I think Drinka is wanting everyone to know that she is single with baggage. So we have a Tommy T comment. I'm going to say this is probably not the real Tommy T. It says, "This comment section is full of gaming racists and gaming communists." This goes back to what I said just a minute ago, where he called people gaming racists and gaming communists. "I'm the world's best CEO. Many people have said that. Believe me, I'm like a smart person, very tremendous. Nobody has as many Guinness records in gaming as me. I have the most experience. I have written all the most important music in all the gaming history and produced all the important sound effects. Believe me, this will be a success. Many people say, 'Tommy, why don't you make a gaming console?' They ask and say, they are right. I'll make the most tremendous gaming system ever seen, believe me." So Harold G responds, "Oh, this can't be dummy Tallarico. No caps every few lines? You faker, you hater. And yeah, it's not Tommy because he would normally have more words capitalized or bolded and more exaggerations. So Nick actually responds saying, no words. So keep that in mind for later in this video that Nick does spend time replying to comments like this. Just keep that in your mind. David M says, Trump, is that you? He could probably run this company better than those idiots, or these idiots. The real Tommy is hiding in his safe space right now. And I don't know where Tommy is right now. He might be dealing with his sick father. So I won't. And he's probably been told not to post anything on social media or anywhere. So I don't blame Tommy for not responding with his, well, at least with his real account, not with like a Tony S account or something. Darinka says, this comment from Tommy T proves hateful trolls are here, like I said earlier. Now, Tara N had posted a lot of stuff. Some of it wasn't so good, but this one isn't too bad. She writes, have you considered making a standard controller as opposed to the display ones? That might make you be able to sell the console for $99 to $100. I heard that the console's made from an old Android TV box. Is that true? Is it true that you can use a cell phone instead of a controller? Can I use my flip phone or a house phone? Now let's get into the troll things. Does this Amico use IC or D batteries? Is RF modulator included or is it a separate purchase? Does it support Siri or Alexa? Will you have Space Invaders or Pac-Man? Will there be a handheld version? Is it waterproof? So excited about your unit. And Harold G says, I have heard, pray tell, of a buttocks rubbing attachment for a VR game. Stay tuned. So the troll comments start off well, but then clearly they went too far with it. If they had just left the first few sentences, that would actually be a good question to ask, because a lot of people said, well, why do you have these weird controllers? You're not really even using them to their full capabilities. Like, we haven't seen any game use the microphone or really the touchscreen for any creative ways, at least. So if they had left it at the first sentence, we're just saying, why have you considered using a standard controller as opposed to the display ones? That might have been a good question. David S says, I'm looking forward to the promised shipping update within the next 24 hours. And so do we, because they did mention that by the end of the month they'll have an update on the shipping. We'll see if they keep that promise. It's also been much further than the 30 days or so as originally promised on the Republic comment. So we'll see what he says, if they say anything. Jack R says, can't believe how many basement dwelling trolls showed up here. These people have been obsessed with this project for a long time, and they spend every waking hour on it. It's rather pathetic. They are pathetic. And Harold says, yes, I agree. I agree that you're a walking, talking, and apparently typing stool sample. That was pretty funny, Harold. And I don't think everyone spends every waking hour on it. I think a lot of people are falling in the same boat as what I do, where every day they do check the subreddit or the AmicoGames.com or one of those other sites and just see what's new, because it's really funny and interesting. But I don't think everyone scours the internet looking for every bit of detail. Last comment says, from Don R says, I think Ninja Kitty is the best YouTube channel out there, and it has the best coverage of the Intellivision Amico. Why, thank you, Don R. You're so kind. I thank you for that. Elijah B comes back and says, remember the GTO red Amico? And he posts the link and shows the picture of that red colored shell. People were speculating way back then that it could be a Target exclusive, but I don't see Target listed under their retailers above it in the StartEngine campaign. But here's the good news. Some company acquired the Circuit City name and logo and opened up a new Circuit City online store at circuitcity.com. And since they have red as their color, I was maybe thinking that the GTO Red Amico could become a Circuit City exclusive. How cool would that be? You could revive both the Intellivision name and Circuit City simultaneously at the same time. Two birds, one stone. Pure genius. And that's a funny comment. And it is comical because Tommy did bring up about all the different colored shells, which makes everything really confusing. Had they knew what they were doing, they would have stuck with maybe just the white one and one special edition color, kind of like how Everkid has the default being a white with a red, but then they had a Founders Edition, limited edition black console. But no, they had to have all these different colors and all these stickers that you can put on your controllers, and we haven't seen any of that so far. So So you have several comments from Tara N. First one is StartEngine describes itself as where everyday people can find and invest in early growth companies and startups. This iteration of the Intellivision company is nearly 4 years old, as is the announcement of the Amico. How does that qualify as a startup or early growth company? And that is a good point. This isn't getting early in on a brand new company. They've had 4 years to create a product and launch it. So while Terra appears to be a troll account, at least this question does bring up a good point of saying that this isn't early into the development. This is well into development, and the truth is this is just more of a band-aid or a lifesaver for the company so they can get some money to hopefully continue on. Tara comes back and says, is there a manufacturing update? GameStop says they'll have it in store April 1st. Amico's for lovers, not the haters. Bernie L says, that's great news. I guess they leaked it 2 days earlier than an official announcement. Very exciting. Tara says, I just got back from KB Toys. I traded in my Switch and I'm going to use my store credit to buy the best family-friendly video game system since the Game Wave. As a pre-order customer and video game enthusiast, I get to pick it up February 29th. Oh, that's even better. Make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver and the other's gold. I think that Amigo will set the fold standard. Amigos for lovers, not the haters. And that's a cheeky comment. Just basically saying that the placeholders are showing it's coming out in April 1st, but clearly it's not going to come out April 1st. Tara comes back again. Oh my goodness. So many questions by Tara. What will the physical games be used for if the system doesn't come out? Can I use them on classic Intellivision? If the system does not come out and eventually does go out of business, will I still be able to play the games? Will I be able to activate new games if you're out of business? And she's just making fun of the point that some people bought those physical products, they don't call them as games, which will have a RFID card, which may be able to download games in the future. It's just so silly, just making fun of the whole what they did just to scrounge up a few extra bucks. So that's about all we have for the StartEngine comments. I'll keep an eye on it over the next few weeks, but I imagine it's pretty much done right now because nobody's actually asking real questions. So I thought it'd be a good idea to go back to the Republic comment section for the Republic fundraising, which I would think that they would make more of an effort to update since they raised all that money, all those millions of dollars. And the last update they have was the one from January, of course. And there's a few comments I was just going to go over here. One was from Joe Cochran saying, bye-bye money. And Nick had responded to that, and this is 17 days ago, so a couple weeks back. Or First Jack said, also according to their SEC filing, they have a scary amount of debt. Not good at all. Which is very true. Nick says, Jack/Joe, of the long-term debt listed, 5.6 million, or approximately 80%, is accounting for future revenue share payments as related to the Republic revenue share offering. The auditors required the company to list all investment coming from Republic as long-term liability, as it is ultimately will need to be paid as the company grows its revenue and pays out returns to Republic investors. This is not traditional debt. Still doesn't explain, or it still doesn't go over the fact that they only have a few months of working cash to keep the company afloat. So we have Jack Pollock again saying, Intellivision's latest SEC filing that you can find on their new crowdfunding campaign, StartEngine, indicates that some very troubling things ahead. Take a look and read through their risk factors yourself, starting on page 15, especially on the parts on pages 38 and 39, stating that they only have enough cash on hand to continue operating for another 1 to 2 months. And if they hit their maximum goal on StartEngine, it would only be enough to fund the company for 7 to 9 months more. And that's what I just said like 2 seconds ago. That's a bigger deal, and he has a link for the PDF there. Why hasn't Tommy or the Amico staff updated the investors here about any of this? And that's a great comment right there, because they have not provided any updates to these real investors, and there's a lot more investors on this side here. And we'll go over that in a bit, because they haven't even updated the listing showing that Tommy is no longer the CEO. So if you look on the page and you scroll down, you can see Tommy is still listed as the CEO of the company. You'd think they'd update that, or else make that separate post saying, hey, Phil Adams taking over, and just to keep people up to date. So Joe had said, another one from the filing others might find insightful is, we may never have an operational product or service. it is possible that there may never be a fully operational Intellivision Amico, or that the product may never ever be used to engage in transactions. Nick responds to both the gents, saying, please keep in mind that this is a requirement to disclose every possible scenario that could negatively impact investors. Unfortunately, this does provide fodder for people to speculate and promote the worst possible outcomes. If you look at the disclosures from other companies, you'll see similar language. And he has a little bit of a point, but it still doesn't answer Jack's original thing, saying they only have enough money for 1 to 2 months. That's not a worst possible outcome. That's reality. So this is going to be a good comment. This one people I think will be referencing today and in the next few days. Holly had said, seems that this has been taking too long. Something more than supply chain issues. I'm losing faith. I think she means losing faith. Nick responds, hi Holly, we continue to push forward and will be announcing later this month when the initial units will start shipping. And that was 17 days ago, which was February 11th. We still have not heard anything yet. So he has up until the end of today to make the announcement of when the initial units will start shipping. Otherwise, he's not a man of his words. So we'll see if they say anything today. I have my doubts, but we'll hold out. But these people are wondering, when is this going to happen? So this one from Andrew L. says, would you please address how you're going to remedy the concerning issues noted in the Ars Technica Meltdown article regarding Amico? And he goes over just what the article had said. We have David S. saying, I also want to weigh in on this as someone in their daily job for nearly 20 years has been involved in design manufacturing overseas, end user delivery in this kind of I'm not going to say that word, from people that do not know what is involved is irresponsible. Component cost fluctuates week to week, and in most cases with electronics, but what people get wrong or don't understand or refuse to understand is that the cost to money to develop, resource, and then manufacture the components needed. And you have the shipping involved from getting the product from the factory to factory if you can't do it all in one location, and from factory to distribution center. These costs are usually tied into the cost of the items, so you do not see them as separate costs. And only separate cost is shipping from distribution to end user. I'm not saying this is 100% the case for the Amico and Intellivision. I'm just saying that this is as in general practice, and by listing only component costs as a justification, I have an opinion that the price is too high is not irresponsible by the author of the article, but is unfair to Intellivision that they have to then correct this so that other investors aren't confused or misled by something formation. And Tommy responds, thank you for your information and correct post. It's nice to hear current information and facts from others who are experienced in the field of and understand the current challenges anyone in manufacturing is currently facing. We really appreciate your support and understanding. I can understand why investors like Andrew may have questions after reading such an inaccurate and factually incorrect article. And although they did change parts of the inaccuracies after our statement of facts, the article still remains more fiction than fact. Thank you again for your comment and insights. Oh, Tommy, you tell them how that evil Sam from Ars Technica is, his lies. Andrew had responded, thanks, I read the statement of facts and appreciate the responses and corrections. It does seem to me, however, that the article makes a good point regarding the appeal of Amico being primarily the retro market, even if the long-term goal is to expand beyond that. And the retro market comparison in that article does bring some important issues. Competitive offerings with more games, more recognizable branding, and a less expensive price point would seem to be more important factors to consider in determining the success of the Amico release. What steps are being taken to address those issues? Tommy responds, hi Andrew, thank you for the inquiry. The article in this question was factually incorrect in many places, so much so that the company recently had to put out a statement of facts regarding just a few of the inaccuracies, most of which you had questions on. You can read the statements of facts over here. We also recently updated our FAQ, which contained a wealth of really great information. Thank you for your support. So notice that Tommy doesn't actually answer his question, and other channels have gone over the statements of facts from I guess so like 2 months ago. Geek Getaway had a good one, and most of the statement of facts is just, they didn't even really clarify much of stuff, and they only addressed just partial issues they had of that article from Ars Technica. So for Tommy to say that it's more fiction than fact. That's such a BS. Of course he's making that shit up. I just thought it'd be funny to include this one in. And the last comment, this one is from over a month ago from Robert Z. And there's a bunch of questions here and no replies to it. So remember earlier in the video where Nick was responding to a troll comment from Tommy T, and even my previous videos where he's addressing all these clearly people who are not real investors or people who are interested in investing. Here we have a real investor, and here's the questions he had asked. He says, "It's been a while since the last update. While the details are appreciated, I still have a ton of questions. First one, why end of year console goals were not met despite statements in September as this was the goal? So why didn't it happen? What specifically went wrong? Could we hear from Nick?" So they want to know why exactly is this not out yet? Second one, the Packin' Games App Store, OS, and Cloud were also not ready for 10.10 or any prior published date. The chip shortage has no impact on software, but reasons for the delay in software were never discussed. Why are the games not done and translated for your Dubai office and market in that region? Could we hear from Bill? And we still haven't heard about that. Like, why? They've had 2 years to work on it. 3. Why is the UI not complete? Why is everything in a work in progress? And we learned from the financial reports that they need a whole lot of money so they can work on the back end of the system. How come that's not done? Why is it what's the reasoning for this? Next question, what are the anticipated sales in the UAE? Could we hear from Samit? Well, I don't even know if they're going to launch there. Fourth question, the 10 box games that were already sold at retail also have little no progress shown or release date. Exactly how far out are these games from release to tap and download? Could we hear from Jason? So he's asking questions from different members of the team, which would be interesting because we haven't heard from most of the team. We've only heard from Tommy, Nick, and sometimes John Alvarado. We've learned since then that they only have 14 games that they think that will be complete by the end of this year, which is insane. It would be nice to hear details of why those other games are not complete. They've shown from the promo reels from years ago a bunch of games. How come they're not done? Fifth question is, when will RFID tap to download work and be demoed in an actual cloud, not just a local copy? Could we hear from John? And that one won't be done anytime soon because their back end is not, who knows the state what it's in. Have they even started it? We don't even know. Next question, NFTs were touted. How would the transfer of an NFT work and what blockchain? Does it have value if IE servers go dark? Could we hear from John? Another great question, because Tommy brought up NFTs and made a big deal about it. They still have I don't even think they've started. I think in the financials they said they haven't even started on it. So another question that should have a black and white answer, but we still don't know. The next one I liked was, why did the stolen assets appear in an official company deep dive reveal causing embarrassing press? Could we hear from Mike Dietz, who is he's the visual guy from the team? And we never actually heard officially from Intellivision what the deal is and why it went from battle tanks, tank battle, armor battle, or whatever it's called. No mention of this. We just heard from the shills saying, well, it's normal to use placeholder graphics. But it's quite odd. How much investment has gone to games via hardware versus overhead? Office, salary, benefits, perks. No transparency on financials makes the ability to track progress impossible. Could we hear from Phil? And that's the one. This Robert will probably have a field day with the stuff that was on the StartEngine. And it appears that they have an insane amount of overhead to a point where it's just ridiculous. This is why people are saying it's a scam, because what any normal person wouldn't have spent all that money on just the unnecessary stuff. The bloat they have on their team and everything is just it's pretty eye-opening. Next question was, when will tangible proof of manufacturing be shown? So far only a shell and a single wall adapter was shown. Can Tommy comment? And that's what we're trying to find out, hopefully by the end of this month. But we haven't seen anything. It's from sounds of it, it's not even close to coming out, so that's going to be a tough one. What is the marketing What is the marketing that is expected for launch by the CMO? Can he speak to that? Question for Rob. Do they have even a marketing budget at this point? When will the real marketing start? We always heard about that. What has been the attrition in pre-order rates and how is that being mitigated? Question for Nick. Well, we can tell you that a lot of the people are canceling their pre-orders because they don't think this is going to come out. And they're at, was it 5,400 now? Which is extremely small, real small. What are the sales forecasts for consoles and software for 2022? Can Phil comment? And they don't even know if they're going to be able to launch this year, so I guess Phil can't really comment a lot. I just thought it'd be interesting to bring this comment up, this whole thing from Robert, because these are legit questions. They're not joke questions or troll questions, and he's an investor. These are the type of questions they should be able to answer, and they don't, and there's no answer to it. However, as I showed you in my previous 7 videos, Nick answered a whole bunch of ridiculous questions from people who have not put money into the company. So I just think this is a prime example of them just being just a complete mess, and just their priorities are just out of whack completely. And maybe he doesn't want to answer the question. Maybe they see the questions here and just don't want to answer it because every single response is going to put the company in a negative light. So I just thought it'd be interesting to bring this up. So in conclusion, that's probably about all we have for the comments for the StartEngine campaign. I did find it comical that Nick would engage with the obvious trolls and then play victim and blame them, complaining. Yet he ignored that Republic question that I had shown there just a minute or two ago. It really shows their priorities. Since I started making these videos, I think the StartEngine campaign has lost money. There's no one investing, so clearly they're not anywhere near getting that goal that they thought they would get of 5 million. It looks like we're going to hear an announcement soon for probably that they're going out of business. So we'll see what kind of funny stuff happens with when that happens. So until then, I'll try to make some more funny videos if any information does come out. If not, maybe I'll make a video about the shells. They're still funny, but even they are dwindling down and not doing videos anymore. It just seems like this is all coming to an end finally. So it's been good while it's lasted. Hopefully we have a few more chuckles on the way, but either way, thanks for watching the video. Subscribe if you can, and I'll see you in the next one.